a bit of amazing wildlife here. This little heron. It's a wonderful little creature. Blends in very well. I didn't even notice him. I'm over here by the dam. This is actually the turnaround point of my hike here. I just started talking, so now he's starting to move. But I came walking up right there from the trail, walked around here, and he stayed there. And I didn't even recognize him. That's how well he camouflaged into that water. He was sitting down in that water, looked just like a stick sticking up there with his color of his feathers just wonderfully blended in. And I came up here, walked around, was over here taking pictures, and he didn't move. Then I went back over there, right where he's looking, see the direction he's looking. I was sitting right there, taking pictures of him. Then I walked over here, and it wasn't until I started talking to you guys that he's getting ready to go. It wasn't until I started talking to you guys that he started to move, but he was completely blended. Now he's checking us out. Look at that. It's a wonderfully created animal. Things in this creation are just amazing and beautiful. And these wonderful creatures, not too long ago, were pretty scarce in this area, and they've been coming back like crazy, thanks to a lot of the wildlife preserves like this one here. I live in an area that's not too far from Philadelphia, and it's kind of patchwork towns, farms and rural towns and suburbs, but they're doing a good job of keeping some wildlife areas, places for these guys to come. Let's just watch what this guy does. He's got himself a perfect little area to sit and catch fish. What this area is right here is on the Schuylkill River in Pennsylvania. And back in the day, before railroads became a main necessity and something that was access to every single town. Any area that had a river, like the Schuylkill, had canals. And that's what they used for transportation. People would take the canal, and what the canal was, not to insult anybody's intelligence, but they would have a river, and to the side of the river they would build a canal. And right now I'm actually standing over an old lock of an old canal. That's what these things here are, old remnants of a lock. And what the locks were how they regulated the height of the water, the depth of the water, so the canal ships, canal boats could navigate up in the river. Because what the canals did, they kept the river at the same depth when the rest of the river was at rapids. And wherever they had a dam or an area of great elevation, they would have a lock, and they would use that dam to fill up that lock, so if the water level was higher going upstream or lower, a boat would come into the canal. Like, this is an old one, like I said, this has been filled in. There's bits and pieces of this canal and Schuylkill River where towns have preserved them as historical sites, and some even use them as recreational sites where you can rent canoes and go canoeing the canal. Restaurants along them and whatnot, nice little things like that. But a ship will come up, a little canal boat will be pulled up to this lock. They would use the water in the dam to fill this. The gates of the lock would open up to fill the water up to the same level as the river upstream, and then the canal ship would continue on. But at the advent of the railroad, obviously, more towns were getting the railroad. Ironically, they were building railroads along canals, and the canal business just basically ended. This guy's got a perfect area right here in this little canal, so he just ate something. You got all the rough water out there because of the dam. Sorry, my camera's a little shaky, I was zoomed in. You got all that rough water out there, but it's just in this little canal, this little offshoot, it's just still. And one thing I just learned, I've never been to this. Got some canoers out there enjoying enjoying this beautiful day. It rained a little earlier, but I'm going to talk up a little bit because this is going to be loud. What I'll do is I'll show you and then I'll talk about it. I don't know if you can see, I don't think you saw that too well. But we can actually come down here. You might think, well, okay, they got this dam built here, which is stopping all the water upstream. You know, you might wonder how the fish are going to, you would think that that would stop all the fish flow, which in a sense it would. There will be fish that would not go up this stream, but with this little entrance is, which I was shown, is it's a fish facility. It's called a fish ladder, and this is built to the side of the dams. And what it is it's like a step system of chambers, and there was actually like these paddle looking things in there. Looked like a ladder, like a wood ladder, and it allows the fish to, it basically buffers the water going downstream, so the fish are able to go up and down the stream without risking, without not stopping because of the dam or risking getting hurt. So that's something I learned today. Well, anyway, we'll let this guy keep on doing his thing. He's paying me no mind, so we're going to pay him no mind. And I'm sorry, I was shaking the camera. He was sitting there eating. I haven't even done much of anything else other than come out here and watch God's creation. When you spend enough time in the woods, you really can't deny God and His creation. It's an amazing thing to watch. Here's an interesting hole pattern. This ground isn't too entirely that hard, plus it's right by the water. But you'll see it starts right there. You'll see, get a stick. Here's a mound, and it comes over. There's a hole right there. Continues. There's a hole in this little channel. Continues. There's a bigger hole. There's one that looks like it got trampled closed. There's another one, and that little mound continues all the way across the trail. Interesting little system of holes in a tunnel. No idea what can't even begin to guess what created that. What kind of animal? I've never seen a pattern like that, other than in like backyards with moles and stuff like that. I know moles will do that, but no idea out here in the wild what kind of critter would have created a tunnel and hole system like that. But I just think that's pretty interesting. It's not that big of a hole, so it's something small. Maybe it is a mole or something like that out here, but it's definitely an interesting little sight. Somebody's back here marking trails. It's another good tip too. Here, obviously someone used ribbons with a clothespin. And I know a lot of hunters out there that are watching this, you're very familiar with this, marking your route to your tree stands and whatnot. But it is definitely if you do like to hike and you're hiking in areas that you're not familiar with, this is a good technique to use. I mean, ribbon, this is that cheap, just construction ribbon. You can carry a roll of that with no problem. A couple clothespins or just tie it to the tree. And what you do, as you can see, I'm standing on a high point. Alright? It's very noticeable. This is a very noticeable area. If I'm down there, I'll know I'm coming up on this. You're not going to miss this point. So what you do is, on prominent features, like say you're standing on this trail and you want to cut in, okay, prominent features, like up on top of this hill, you're going to tie one of these, then you're going to walk, and what you want to do is you want to try to keep this in view as much as you can. You would walk, and And when you got to the point down there, whatever direction you're heading to, where maybe you can't see this no more, or you can't recognize it, you put another one. You know, you're just leaving breadcrumbs. That's all it is. Leaving breadcrumbs. And obviously, you know, like this one right here is just perfect. You know, it's, look at that mosquito. Boy, he's filling up. She's filling up. Man, she's been there for a while. This thing was big and red. But, you know, as you can see, this is at eye level, which is right where you want to put it too. You don't want to put it down on the ground. You don't want to put it up high where you might not see it. You put it at eye level, and you would want to put it, like say, let's take for instance that big tree right there. You know, say there's a stick on the other side, a branch on the other side. You wouldn't put it on the side of a tree like that where you can only see it from that side. You want to put it somewhere where you can pretty much see it from any angle. So that's another trick for, you know, something you can carry with you, take with you to help you find your way. Because now if you were to go down there and get, you know, lose your bearing or lose where you're heading, you could just revert back to your last point. Walk back the direction you came until you found your little flag, and then you can be like, oh, okay, cool. This is where my last flag is. I know my last flag was back there. You walk until you get it. You just follow your breadcrumbs back.